Auburn's last scrimmage on Saturday will be big for a couple of position groups because afterwards, it's all Baylor.
In the world full of podcasts, he's the undisputed heavyweight champion of hot takes, an Auburn sports homer, master of the boog, and message board legend. Get your buttons buttoned and your hats flattened because the Top Button Podcast is about to kick off. And you don't want to miss your courtside seat. Now, here's your host, Charlie 5.
Sir, we're back. It's another episode of the Top Button Podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Rush, a.k.a. Charlie 5, and we are ready to get after it. Happy Friday. Tomorrow is Auburn's last scrimmage of fall camp. After that, they will turn their attention to the Baylor Bears. And if you've been paying attention to any Auburn media lately, that game's getting heated up. The debate between Locked On Baylor and Locked On Auburn host Zach Blackerby was great. Everybody's getting fired up for this game, and that includes the Auburn players. Got a scrimmage tomorrow. There's a couple of position groups, players in particular inside those position groups that are looking to make their last case to say, hey, I need to be a part of the game plan. I need to be a part of this helping go on the road and take down the Baylor Bears, because after Saturday, the focus switches to game planning for Baylor. So we're going to get into all that in just a second. But before we do that, let's give a quick shout out to Rowback.com. Use coupon code BARN20 to take 20% off your order. They have some new Auburn game day apparel ready to come home and live with you. They got a new polo that's fantastic. They got a new hoodie, a new pullover, everything you need. And then if you just don't want game day attire, you want other stuff, of course, they got that as well. So save big. Coupon code BARN20 takes 20% off. Show them some love. It's rowback.com. Like I said, tomorrow's a big day. The scrimmage tomorrow is a big day. It's like your last chance, your last real chance. And that may be a tad dramatic, because I would imagine the vast majority of the questions have been answered. The vast majority of the concerns, the vast majority of figuring out who goes where is probably close to being decided. You may have some shifting here or there as the weeks go on, but tomorrow, if you want to make that last case, if you want to plead your case to being part of the crux of the game plan to go take down Baylor, you need to do it. You need to do it tomorrow. You need to do it every day, but in a game-like scenario, I think tomorrow is going to be the most realistic type scrimmage that Auburn's had thus far. You've got all the information you've learned. You know what you do good. You know what you don't do well. You know what you need to work on, and they're going to go get after it. Go get after it tomorrow. It's going to be a close scrimmage. Probably not going to be very many people attending. Information is going to be hard to come by, but I'm sure we'll be able to get some, and we'll have some stuff to talk about. There's certain position groups that I think are the biggest storylines as far as what happens in the scrimmage, meaning more, I guess, what type of information you can get from that, what kind of performances they have. I think it means more than others. And the first one is obvious, and it's running backs. Unfortunately, the concern about the running backs, again, this is only preseason, okay? This doesn't mean that this is 100% the story that will be written about this running back room as the season kicks off. But the concern going into camp, as far as position groups go, running backs were one of them. Just there wasn't that feature guy that you're 100% sure is ready to carry the load. And as fall camp's gone on, sure, there's been some moments of excitement. You know, Omar Mabson busting off a couple of big runs in one of the scrimmage, Darrell Robinson. But overall, it feels like running backs are sort of an afterthought when it comes to the offense right now. They're struggling running the ball at times. So this scrimmage is big, I mean, for all of them, because I don't think anybody separated themselves. I love Damari Alston, but like the biggest highlight I feel like from him this fall camp is that Jay Crawford knocked his helmet off in one of the scrimmages. You just haven't gotten that confirmation. You haven't gotten that feeling that not only has not one guy really stepped up, but like they're all just sort of the same. They're all just kind of average. I mean, look, it can't get any more identical than on the NCAA roster. I think Darrell Robinson, Jeremiah Cobb, and Damari Alston are all rated the exact same, all like 82s or 83s or something like that. And that's science. I mean, that basically means there's no separation. But this scrimmage is big because at some point in time, you got to have a guy that goes out there first. At some point in time, you got to have a guy that you feel confident that when the situation presents itself that you got to run the ball, when the count's right, when the front's right, whatever in the RPO game, that you got to be able to get those 4 yards. And I say 4 yards because that's kind of the goal. If we can get 4 yards of play, if we can get 4 yards, we're going to have first downs. We're going to keep moving the chains. We're going to be ahead of the chains. You got to have the guy back there that you can trust. And I have no idea who that is right now. Jeremiah Cobb's been hurt most of the fall camp. I think he's been full speed the last couple of practices, but he's still got that pinky like really, really wrapped up. Can he catch the ball out of the backfield? Darrell Robinson has looked explosive at times, and then he just disappears at times. Omar still, you can see he's just full of talent, but he's still a young guy. He's still a freshman, a young freshman at that. Damari's the guy that's been the most consistent name, but has he really done anything that's been spectacular in fall camp so far? If he has, I haven't heard it. When you list the position groups, running backs are always going to be on the top of the list as far as position groups that you're concerned about. And I don't think at this point in time they've really done much to what am I going for here? I don't think they've done much to sort of calm down any concerns, I guess, that you might have with that group. Now, the offensive game plan, the offensive style may not even matter. Like they may be able to throw the ball so much to set up the run that it doesn't matter. Not having to formation into obvious run plays. Maybe it won't matter. Maybe just a function of the offense will create space for them. And that's very possible. Like when you're in practice and you're trying to work on running the ball, you're trying to run the ball against a defense that knows you're trying to run the ball. So it makes things a lot tougher. So once you're able to get in a rhythm of a game and you're able to get off balance, get the defense off balance, maybe it makes running the ball a lot easier. Regardless, Saturday's big for the running backs. Somebody's got to step up. Somebody's got to take the ball, no pun intended, and run with it. And I think you got the perfect opportunity to do it right before you switch over to game planning for Baylor. Because once that happens, more than likely you're going to have your lineup set, and then you're game planning for Baylor. So there isn't really a lot of scrimmage opportunities or position battle opportunities. Once fall camp is over, you're basically, if you're not that top guy, you're just sort of fighting for your, that little crack that you get the opportunity to jump in there and then doing everything that you possibly can with it. Once Saturday's over, it's really hard to move yourself up the depth chart. So we'll see what happens with the running backs. Talk DB rotation. I think it's a big day for the DBs, even though they're one of the best position groups on the team. We'll talk about that in just a second. We'll be back right after this. I can't talk enough about this defensive back room. We talked about Jay Crawford on the last show, about him being fearless when the ball is in the air. He's really not the only one. Okay. These guys are super talented. But the problem, and I say problem in quotation marks, the problem with that is there's a lot of really good players, a lot of mouths to feed. How does that rotation work out? I think you figure a lot about that out this weekend as well. Because look, you got guys like Champ Anthony. You got guys like Rayon Strader. You got those young safeties. You got all these dudes who are just immensely talented, and you don't have enough spots for them on the field. If we go primarily at cornerback. I mean, it is pretty much a foregone conclusion. Your 1 and your 2 are going to be Kay and Lee, and it's going to be Jay Crawford. And honestly, I might even say Jay Crawford is your primary guy. I'm close to saying he's the best corner on the team. Kay and Lee's really good, and Kay and Lee's the junior, and Kay and Lee's playing for, possibly working his way up the NFL draft boards this year. But I think Jay Crawford's the best corner on the team right now. But Rayon Strader, man, how do you get him on the field? How do you get this guy on the field? I mean, he's built like a safety. I don't know why in my mind I felt like he would be he would be a smaller bodied, almost even like a nickel corner when we first signed him. I mean, I guess I could have looked right at the measurables and seen that I was wrong. But this kid he is physical. I think if you could just silhouette him and Jay Crawford, where you couldn't make out their hair, you couldn't make out anything other than just a silhouette, and watch them play football, the way they play the game is very similar. Jay may be just a little bit better instinctively, but Rayon is as physical and as fearless as Jay Crawford. He has that I want to hurt you, I'm going to punish you mentality. What do you do with that? How do you get him on the field? I think he could play boundary or field side corner. Probably closer to maybe boundary might be best for him, just because you got less field to cover. I don't know that he has quite the range that Jay has, so I might put him on that side. And then if they can figure out a way, like if somebody's got to come off and catch a blow or catch a rest, he's like the first guy off the bench. Just so DBs play so many snaps, though. It's like because they're not getting the physical hits that your linebackers are, that your defensive linemen are. Not to say they can't be physical or they're not physical, but it's just not constant. It's not every play. Really, it's all about conditioning for those guys because they're running. they're running every play. So if they're in really good shape, it makes that obviously a much easier position to play a ton of snaps. But there's no reason to let anybody get that tank even close to empty when you got a guy like Rayon Strader. And I think that's probably the key. That's what you watch for. Those key, you're watching for that gas tank to drop a little bit closer, maybe just a quarter of a tank. Don't let them get below a quarter of a tank. You can pop one off and pop him in, and I don't think you miss hardly a step at all. Champ Anthony, man. Seems like he's getting snaps at safety, getting snaps at nickel. They're doing things to get him involved as much as possible. The DBs it's a big week for a ultra talented group to figure out who goes where and who are going to be the primary defenders on that first team defense. and maybe that first rotation off the bench for the game plan versus Baylor. You figure a lot out about that possibly tomorrow. Boy, that's a fun group to talk. As I said it earlier, that is a fun group to talk about. I mean, you can just start. You just start naming names, and then pound for pound. I mean, if you told me I think the DB room is better than the wide receiver room, it's hard for me to – I can't just say you're way wrong. They're super talented, man. They got the NFL potential just like the wide receivers do. They got the depth just like the wide receivers do. Now it's all about who goes where. It's fun, man. Last but not least, I think it's not a position group, but I think it's a big scrimmage for Perry Thompson. I really do. He's shown all the positive signs of a guy who is working his way into being a polished SEC wide receiver. He's checking all the boxes to become that. I think last year, just like most hotshot freshmen, you maybe think you're better than you are, and you're humbled really quickly, and then you have to make a decision. Is it me, or is it where I'm at and I need to go find somewhere else to play? And Perry had to look himself in the mirror and say, could I play elsewhere at a high-level SEC school, or are there some things that I could be doing better to improve my stock here on this team? And I think he obviously chose the latter, and he's done those things. Even still, you have to battle seasoned veterans like Horatio Fields. You got to battle incoming freshmen who are way ahead of where expected in Sam Turner. You're going to have to battle. I mean, even Malcolm can slide out and play on the outside. So there's a lot of opportunities to be discouraged. There's a lot of opportunities to feel like it's just too big of a mountain to climb. So I think this is a big scrimmage for him because he needs to see the field this year. This is a big year for him. A big year for him in his career at Auburn, because even the jump that he's made, I still think he's 1 year away. He's 1 year away. And I may be overshooting that. It may not even be. He may be here now, but I think he's 1 year away from being an elite SEC wide receiver. So this is a big scrimmage for him, I think, just because I need to make an impact. I need to be a part of that game plan. I need to be a part of that rotation, getting meaningful snaps so that when my number is called, it's not to go block on a run. When my number's called, I got just as much a chance to score as anybody on this field. And think about, too, I feel like probably not a lot of eyes are going to be on him, especially early from the defensive coordinator side, especially if you're on the field with Cam Coleman and Eric Singleton and even Malcolm Simmons. So you get a chance to make something happen, and possibly you're not really the focal point of the defense. Time to eat. Need to do it this weekend. Get yourself in a position where you're part of the game plan. This is a big scrimmage. Again, it's going to be closed. I don't know how much information we're going to have, but we're going to work hard to try to get some. We got obviously some relationships where we can ask some questions and fill some things out. So we'll try to keep everybody updated. We'll have a live show Sunday night, probably breaking down the scrimmage and sort of get ourselves prepared to take on Baylor. So, guys, I really appreciate it. We're so close. We're so close to actual tackle football. Cannot wait. I don't know if you guys are excited as me. Who else do you think needs to step up in this scrimmage, can make a big impact? Let me know in the comments. Had another great week of shows. Thanks again for listening. We'll be back again soon. It's another episode of the Top Button Podcast. Stay buttoned.
Thanks for listening, and drive home safely.